Hello friends, welcome to Current Jots. This is Manifest IS. Now, as we discussed in the first part, that the slowdown has been happening from the last 1 year, and so the government took a lot of steps in October. Now, coming to what were the steps taken just before the spread of coronavirus, and what are the steps what were taken in lockdown phase one to keep the economic system intact and in order to continue boosting the economy and maintain confidence in the Indian currency market, financial market, MSMEs, industry, etc. Now, what are the steps which were taken by the government and the RBI? Now, coming to lockdown phase one,
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
first of all, there were various changes in the Income Tax Act. Now, this was such as the last day to file returns for the year 1920. See, now is 2021. The last date, which was 1920, has been extended to 30th June because there was a lockdown. Many MSMEs, many taxpayers usually pay on the last date. There's a sudden stoppage of economic activity in the last weeks of March, and therefore a lot of offices were not open. There was suddenly need for more liquidity, and people did not have spare cash to pay income tax. So a logical sense was to delay the date from 31st March to 30th June. Secondly, the delayed payments and interest, the rate of interest would be reduced from 12% to 9% to further ease the burden on the taxpayer. Coming to the third point, there will be no extension, but on delayed deposit of TDS, only reduced interest of 9% will be charged instead of 18%. Lastly, the deadline for linking Aadhaar card and PAN card, which was initially 31st March, will also be extended to 30th June because people will have other things to worry about in times of coronavirus. Lastly, Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. Now, this scheme is very important to clear the legacy disputes. Again, Vivad Se Vishwas is to clear the legacy disputes of the tax department. So, this will also be introduced, and also this has been extended to 30th June 2020, where companies can pay up the pending tax department demands and clear the litigation just by paying an additional charge of 10% or 50% depending on the date they are paying the tax. So this was introduced in the budget this year. Lastly, the due dates for any notice, approvals, filings, capital gains, any laws, whatever the laws were there, whatever filing process was there, which was supposed to be done till 20th March, has been extended to 30th June in view of coronavirus. Now, coming to the changes which were made in the GST. First of all, the last date for March, April and May returns has been extended to 30th June because, as we know, limited economic activity would take place, and also the professionals will not be available or not approachable to file appropriate returns. Next, the companies which are having a turnover of more than or less than 5 crore, there will be no interest and no late fee for filing of GST. So this will help MSMEs and small traders because they usually are covered by this, because large traders will have to continue the normal process of GST filing. Lastly, the last date for opting composition scheme has also been extended to June 30th. Now, composition scheme is where the person is not able to file proper returns. They just have a 1% tax without any maintenance of books. Lastly, the date for opting of composition scheme has been extended to 30th June. So, what were the important changes in Custom and Central Excise Department? So, the scheme Vivad Se Vishwas is for direct taxes. Similarly, Sabka Vishwas scheme was announced for indirect taxes, especially Customs and Central Excise. So, even the dispute settlement under Customs and Central Excise will be extended from 31st March to 30th June. No interest and penalty would be levied irrespective of the amount. Lastly, custom clearance would operate 24/7. So despite the lockdown, despite all the coronavirus talks, customs will continue to function 24/7. So this will not cause anxiety amongst the medical professionals, food importers, etc. because customs will function 24/7 or round the clock. Then what were the important changes in the Companies Act? First of all, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs Registry moratorium will be issued from 1st April to 31st September. So any filing which is required and part of your Companies Act will not have to be compulsory dealt with, or filing process will be eased till 31st September 2020. There will be no additional fees for late filing. And lastly, the board meeting criteria, which was set by relaxing a period of 60 days. Because as we know that we're not even opening the offices now. So therefore, the relaxation for board meetings was also required. Lastly, the company's auditor will also take into account these relaxations, and applicability of company's auditor report for 2020 will be applicable from 2021 instead, because this is a very bad time to implement such changes. And lastly, independent directors, if they have not had even a single meeting, the same will not be treated as a violation. So what were the other changes? First of all, incorporation requirement to file the corporation certificates, etc. will also be waived for 6 months. Lastly, the company directors who does not comply with minimum residence requirement. See, because there are many company directors who are foreigners, so they have to stay in India for 182 days. But because of coronavirus, they might be either stuck here or might not be able to return, or there are many Indian citizens who are stuck abroad. So company directors will be given this relaxation so that they don't violate the provisions of ownership. And lastly, to deposit reserve, a created deposit reserve for 20% has been to be compiled with 30th June will not be there. So requirement to create a deposit reserve 20% deposit, this can be compiled by 30th June instead of 31st March 2020. Lastly, there were some important changes made in the insolvency and bankruptcy code. First of all, the threshold for bankruptcy amount moved from rupees 1 lakh to 1 crore. So up to 1 crore the banks can handle on their own. So this will ease the burden on the IBC and also boost the resolution at the bank level or inter-creditor level. Lastly, if the situation continues, the government may consider suspending laws 7, 9 and 10 under the Insolvencies Act to prevent companies from entering bankruptcy. That is regarding 3 months of payments, delayed interest, penalties, etc. Lastly, there were important measures to boost the fisheries sector, that is having sanitary requirements from shrimp, and the licenses which were expired will be extended by 3 months because licenses will not be available during the lockdown period, and it will make it easier for them to stay in business without a license as well by 3 months. Lastly, there will be a delay up to 1 month in the arrival of consignments would be not requiring any new certificates. That is what we mean by consignments would be condoned. So existing certificates will be valid for another month. And lastly, rebooking of quarantine cubicles for cancelled consignments and aquatic quarantine facility would be allowed. That means because of lockdown, if you could not use the facility, you could use it again with the same booking at a later date. And lastly, NOC and documents would be done in 3 days instead of 7 days. That means it will be fast tracked. So hopefully this reform is carried forward as lockdown opens. Lastly, what has been done by the Department of Financial Services? Department of Financial Services is a nodal body under the Finance Ministry, which is in charge of all maintaining the public sector banks, NBFCs, etc. So for them, debit card holders withdrawing cash from ATMs will be free of charge for the next 3 months. So to impose a lockdown, I might go to the nearest ATM instead of the My Bank ATM. So before we used to pay some charges on withdrawals exceeding a particular amount. So now there will be no charges in withdrawing cash from the nearby ATM despite having some other ATM which is not from your bank. Next, there will be no minimum balance needed in these 3 months because as we know the economic activity has come to a standstill. So therefore people might face problems of minimum balance requirements, cash deposits, etc. So this minimum balance charges have been waived for the lockdown period. Reduce bank charges for digital trade transactions to promote NEFT, RTGS, etc. and to lessen the circulation of cash during these times of crisis. And lastly, commerce, for all practical purposes, the principle is that the delay is because of the lockdown. So whatever compliance was required will be extended by till 30th September to ease doing business during the phase of lockdown. Now coming to the grand package, which is what we call the economic stimulus 1 for coronavirus, which was called PM Garib Kalyan package, which was amounting to 1.7 lakh crore. So what was this all about? This was a comprehensive package covering a lot of sectors. So under this, the Union Finance Minister announced rupees 1.70 lakh crore relief package under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana to for the poor to help them fight the battle against coronavirus. So what was this about? The first thing was about taking care of our corona warriors, that is doctors, nurses, police, healthcare professionals, municipal corporations, etc. So for them, a comprehensive insurance scheme was announced. Under this, Safai Karamcharis, ward boys, nurses were given special insurance schemes up to rupees 50 lakhs. This amount is very important, up to rupees 50 lakhs, so that in the line of duty, they are covered under death premium up to rupees 50 lakh, and the government will take care of them by this measure. Lastly, all government health centers, wellness centers, hospitals, approximately 22 lakh health workers would be provided insurance cover to fight this pandemic. The second component under Garib Kalyan package was Kalyan Anna Yojana, or Ann here means food. So how 80 crore individuals or 80 crore beneficiaries, which is roughly two-thirds of India's population, would be covered under this scheme. Under this, the ration per person was doubled from 5 kilos to 10 kilos, and there will be entitlement of free food grains for the next 3 months. Then there will be availability of pulses, that is 1 kg per family would be provided as pulses for the next 3 months to give some food aid to the poor and to the labor class. Then the next package, which is also very important, that the third benefit was to the farmers. So there will be front loading. I repeat, front loading of the first installment. That means the front loading here means the installment would be paid immediately instead of waiting for the official date for payment. So this will give 2,000 rupees immediately in the hands of PM Kisan. Lastly, this scheme would cover roughly 8.7 crore farmers. So 8.7 crore into 2,000 rupees would be the amount, which will boost some liquidity, some immediate help during the times of coronavirus. Lastly, next thing was cash transfers. So cash transfer would be made to 20.4 crore Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana women account holders, which is a 500 rupee per month for the next 3 months to support them run their house. Next, gas lenders. That this slide is generally concentrating on the role of women and what is the role of women in the house. So firstly, they will be given 500 rupees per month, which is 1500 rupees in total for the next 3 months in their Jan Dhan accounts. Gas cylinders would be available free of cost to Ujjwala beneficiaries, that is 8 crore poor families for the next 3 months can go for free refills of their gas cylinder. Lastly, to help the low wage earners, it was decided that wage earners below 15,000 per month is business having less than 100 workers are at risk of losing their jobs. So the government is proposing to pay 24% of their monthly wages into their PF accounts instead of the MSMEs or the factories concerned. So this will help mitigate some stress at the company level and encourage them to retain their employees for the lockdown period. The next was about support to senior citizens, which is senior citizens above 60 years, widows and the disabled or specially abled people, which we call Divyang. So roughly there are 3 crore such people in India. So they will be also given rupees 1,000 as part of DBT to tide over the difficulties they face in the next 3 months. And one more step was taken, that NREGA wages were revised after a long time. So NREGA wages were increased by rupees 20. So as we know that 100 days of unemployment is provided under NREGA. So this will effectively mean 2,000 rupees extra benefit per worker. So this was estimated to benefit 13.62 crore families. So one person per family for 100 days. So one person per family for 100 days, the incremental benefit would be rupees 2,000 per family. The next was about self-help groups. So for self-help groups, 63 lakh self-help groups will support 6.85 crore households. Now they'll be given, these SHGs will be given collateral-free loans, which were previously 10 lakhs. This will be increased to 20 lakhs in order to keep their business running, so that they don't have this liquidity crisis or problem of collateral or problem of fund flow, etc. during the phase of lockdown. Now the next step was for the organized sector, which is EPFO or ESIC will allow its beneficiaries to withdraw 75% of amount of 3 months of wages to get help, because sometimes the wages might not come, but this money is their saving and this should be used in the times of crisis. So this 75% of the amount can be used for their day-to-day consumption during the lockdown. So this will estimatedly benefit 4 crores workers which are registered under Employee Provident Fund. Lastly, building and construction workers will also be given grants from the Construction Workers Welfare Cess collected at the state government level, and this is also expected to benefit around 3.45 crore registered workers in the respective states. Lastly, District Mineral Fund. The state government will be asked to utilize funds available under the District Mineral Fund to give benefits for testing, screening and other requirements in order to get over with COVID-19 or fight the COVID-19 virus. Next, we come to the steps which were taken by the RBI to boost liquidity, to enable more lending, to enable strength of banks, stability of financial sector, etc. Now, RBI had slashed the repo rate by 0.75%. So, this is a very big increase where the RBI for the first time went for a massive rate cut to boost the economy. So, that was a reduction of 75 basis points, where 1 basis point is nothing but 0.01%, or 0.75 interest rate was cut in repo rate to 4.40%. The reverse repo rate was reduced by 90 basis points to 4%, so that the banks do not park their surplus liquidity in the banking system, so that the banks are not incentivized to put the money back in the banks. RBI, they are incentivized to lend this money to MSMEs or the beneficiaries. So this was there after even slashing it down by 25% to encourage banks to lend to the final customer. Next, there will be a 3-month moratorium on all installments of outstanding term loans, because MSMEs, individuals, etc. might face a problem of liquidity, salary, or working, shutdowns, etc. So they might not be able to pay the 3-month installment to the banks. So this condition was relaxed, and this 3-month moratorium will not count as bad entries for their credit score or their NPAs, etc. Then for MSMEs, there was a special window, and this MSMEs taking the moratorium will not be classified as special mention accounts or non-performing assets by the banks. Also, the RBI went for long-term repo operations, which were for 3-year tenure and 1-year tenure. So normally repo is between 1 day, 7 day or 14 days. But to boost liquidity, RBI went for long-term repo operations for roughly 1 lakh crores. Even CRR, which is cash reserve ratio, or the amount of money which a commercial bank must keep with RBI at all times, that was reduced by full 100 basis points or 1%. So this will give additional 1,37,000 crores to the banking sector to utilize for credit enhancement, and also to give a type of monetary stimulus. See again, monetary stimulus and reduce interest rates for the final customer. Lastly, MSF requirements were also relaxed for this period. This combined liquidity measures by RBI were supposed to boost the liquidity by 3,74,000 crore in the system. So if we see, 1,70,000 crore was given under Garib Kalyan package. 3,74,000 crore has been given by RBI, and the PM has announced a package of 20 lakh crore on Tuesday. So 20 lakh crore, he said specifically, it is including whatever the RBI has done till now and whatever the government has announced thus far. So this will help us in understanding what will be the final amount or additional stimulus which has been announced by the Prime Minister. Now, RBI also permitted state governments and union territories to go for overdraft facilities, because the state governments were also facing problems of fiscal deficit. Also, the state governments will be allowed to use overdraft facility for 21 working days instead of 14 working days. And also the UTs were given this benefit of extension of the overdraft facilities. Then the extension of realization period of export proceeds was increased from 9 months to 15 months. So that means that if you are an exporter, you got some foreign money, so you are supposed to deposit those proceeds with the RBI, because as we know, custodian of foreign reserves is RBI. Now for exporters, that became difficult during the lockdown. So that requirement has been increased from 9 months to 15 months. Lastly, ways and means advances. See, WMA is nothing but the extra borrowing, or ways and means is temporary cash mismatches of the government are met by temporary borrowing by the from the RBI. That is done by the state government and also by the central government. So these limits have been extended till September 30 from 30% to 60% to enable more cash flow. So central government was given a total benefit of 1,20,000 crores extra borrowing from RBI from this facility. And lastly, implementation of counter-cyclical capital buffer. So what is this counter-cyclical buffer? So this was introduced, or this idea was proposed after the 2008 global financial crisis. See, cyclical here means business cycle. We have boom, recession, depression, recovery. So in a period of boom, the government can collect more money. In the period of recession, the government needs to spend more money, although the tax revenue is less. So we have higher fiscal deficit during the recession period, and there is a chance of reducing the deficit during the boom periods. This was also observation made by N.K. Singh committee, where a flexible target of 2.5% or 3.5% was given. So in good years, fiscal deficit can reduce. In bad years, fiscal deficit will go up. So to counter this, to maintain the steady flow of fiscal deficit, a buffer would be created in the boom period to be utilized in the recession period. So this is what we mean by counter-cyclical buffer. Now this was proposed in the 2008 global financial crisis. Now this counter-cyclical buffer will smoothen the curve for financial cycle, fiscal cycle, or monetary cycle, etc. So this CCB or counter-cyclical buffer was designed to ensure that banks do not fail in the times of recession, so that they don't fail when there are no repayments, because they have some buffer to counter it. That buffer has been built up during the times of profitability. Next was as per Basel standards, because as we discussed, 2008 crisis was a financial crisis. So as per Basel standard, the CCB was supposed to be done in tranches, that is stepwise. That is 0.625% was supposed to be done every year until we reach a level of 2.5% by March 31st, 2019. Now this has been delayed till March 31st, 2020 in line with the liquidity situation prevailing in India because of COVID-19. Lastly, RBI will see that CCB will not be effective for the 6 months. That means the banks do not need to put away any money under CCB for under 6 months, and this will lower the regulatory capital requirement by the banks by roughly 56,000 crores. The RBI governor also announced the deferred implementation of the net stable funding ratio by 6 months. Now, what is this net stable funding ratio? It was supposed to be introduced by April 1st. Now, NSFR or net stable funding ratio reduces funding risk by requiring banks to fund their activities with sufficiently stable sources of funding. So, suppose I have a FD with the bank which is expiring in 3 months. Now, based on this money, I cannot give a loan of 5 years because that will be unstable for this loan. So, this stability of the funds from which the banks create the loan is called net stable funding ratio. That how much a bank has money and how much it loans and how much time that money will remain with that. So that is what was delayed till October 1st. This will prevent the asset quality mismatch or need for capitalization in the banking sector. Lastly, the two targeted long-term repo options, or T here stands for targeted, then long-term repo options. So target means, see, LTROs, as we discussed in the first slide or in the previous slides, that RBI went for long-term repo options which were for 3 years to boost liquidity. Now targeted here means that if banks participate in these targeted options, the money has to be used for NBFCs or the targeted purpose which the RBI announces them for. So targeted LTROs are nothing but specific investment in investment grade corporate debt. That means the TLTROs were supposed to make money available to corporate debt market to bring down the yields in the corporate debt market. So this was first introduced by the ECB or European Central Bank in 2008. So LTRO was an acronym coined by the ECB that stood for long-term refinancing operations. But in India we call them long-term repo operations. Lastly, TLTRO 1 was largely went to large PSUs to begin with. The central bank conducted TLTRO 2.0 worth 50,000 crore. So even the RBI was open for going for more TLTROs if the demand arises. So it was, the intent was, it was showing flexibility. Accommodative stance was shown by RBI in order to deal with the present crisis. And this was TLTROs were also launched for mid-sized companies, NBFCs, MFIs, etc. So please like and comment, and also we'll be coming up with the latest announcement what the Prime Minister has made in the next video. Thank you.